Well, hello there. Welcome to your new happy place, or welcome back. Um, this video in particular, I got a fortune yesterday. I went out to a little shop, and this in particular came from one of those little replicas of an old-fashioned machine like they had in the movie Big, I think it was, where Tom Hanks, the Great Zohan, I think it was. But what it says, the more you read, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you earn. Education is your path to a richer future, etc. Play again and I will tell you more. Now, my opinion is life is like completely symbolic, right? Always be interpreting. So, of course, first thing I thought was the more you read isn't a book. But I'm thinking to myself, well, being a tarot card reader and absolute enthusiast of all things, universally able to deliver a message, which is basically everything in the world. So, Oracle Explorer, really. I'm always looking for signs from the universe, no matter where they come from. So I get them. Some really bizarre ones sometimes, but point is, the more you read, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you is all encompassing, right? All encompassing. So that's my goal for the day, to talk about that. So I would like to start with archetypes. Excuse me. We're going to get some direction. Put you in there. We're going to get some direction as far as what you can learn about reading your environments and how that can help you earn. And essentially that means anything that's important to you. You know, anything that you hold value in, anything that you would invest your energy into for return investment, right? Anything you earn. All right, so Spirit, help me explain this because we don't want to get tangled up in basic message. So the self in this scenario, the tier. Well, we would be coming from a place of not having yet understood how important it is to read and learn in order to know your self-worth, really. So as the tier going forward, the energy we're going into, the destroyer. Interesting. Okay, with what is the tool? The underworld. All right, let's talk about education. Underworld's on our side. Basically, that's just the unknown. That's our tool. And why? The shadow. Ooh. Okay. This being semi-important, I do believe I'm going to turn the light on. That may or may not change your viewing. We're going to read, ooh, nice, the ultimate self here on the bottom as the underline. We're going to read out of the book, The Tier, so that all of us have a much clearer idea of what that means in particular. So, beautiful archetypes book, The Tier, is going to be right. Oops, let me see your lights. Pardon me. Feel free to fast forward for a second. Because I have to admit I don't know exactly what it is. 169. 169. Here we go. Oops. There we are. Okay. There it is. I'm going to hold that up while I read it for you. Okay. The tear. The tear. Tears are droplets of letting go. Once they begin to fall, we allow the swelling tide of emotion to run its elemental course. Often the tear is what is needed in order for a conversation or situation to break into the next level of intimacy and vulnerability. Some say that tears are so powerful in softening our egos that they open up a portal to the unseen world. Through our watery eyes, the ancestors catch a glimpse of us, and we are reminded of their eternal embrace. We sense our humanity, our humility, and we allow ourselves to be held. It is likely this card appears when there is grieving yet to do, a sinking down into disappointment or despair that once acknowledged will bring a shimmer of clarity to our dewy eyes. Now that has a certain beauty to it, does it not? The release, the rain, melody, melancholy flowing through. Let's see. Well, the tear is powerful. It is possible to be subsumed in its waters, find a supportive place to open the floodgates. Well, now that's a lot to start a reading about the more you learn. Okay, that's potent, Spirit. I asked for the big one and you gave me the big one. All right, thank you. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate you all. All right, okay, so the tear is the self. The destroyer is where we're going. So essentially, knowledge is power. And the more you know, the more things, ideally, they're going to destroy in order to create a bigger, better version, a more personalized, soul fulfilling version of whatever variety you're playing with here. Going into the underworld. Going into the aspect of the destroyer with the underworld as your guide and your tool, essentially. Why? For the shadow. So basically, that is releasing old identity, old belief, old hangers on of what may have mattered at one point in your journey, but can't matter because it doesn't make sense going forward with having the knowledge that you gain from whatever it is that you learn about. Okay, so the old you cannot continue forward once you know differently. Therefore, once you are seeing yourself as a higher value, then you will require a higher value of interaction with everything, with everything. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to get an awake card next. I like how clear and deep at the same time this is, Spirit. I appreciate it. I have to admit it, on the surface it looks daunting, but essentially it's the human experience. That cycle. Whoa. Shine on, look at that. We've got aspects going in every direction. Shine on. Reflect, refract, redistribute, recalibrate. Very, very interesting. I'm going to put you right here, Mom. Sacred connection at the bottom. Beautiful. All right, shine on. To me, that looks a lot like the shadow card. Again, reflecting, refracting, changing your perspective. On the Alright, so we're gonna get a divine, why do I always call it that? The white light oracle, I do believe. Beautiful cards. Let's see who's gonna represent spirit in this case via these high frequency energetic representations. Actually, we're gonna go this route. We're gonna go this route. A whole new world. Nice. The deer. We are protected. The Deer of Delta, number 26. Now I do believe I may have to look just to make sure because these are fairly new cards for me. But that is all about that Delta, the deep sleep, I believe, where you're nourished and safe. You sleep deeply. Delta. I'm gonna look to make sure. Oh, Garuda. Garuda. Alright, and let's see what we can get from the Mystical Shaman. So this is, again, I just started my tarot card channel not too long ago. Literally like a week. The full moon in Scorpio, as a matter of fact. I'm still sort of figuring out the orchestration of all of these bits and bobs that make up a production of a video that is made with a laptop without pressing the pause button, and yet being timely and not really with any lulls in conversation like I just experienced right there. But what I'm getting at is thank you for your patience while I sort of figure out my my flow. Thank you. All right, we got the Witness. Beautiful. That goes right along with the tear. And wow. Wow. Once you know, you see. Once you know more, you see. Luminous Warrior. Luminous Warrior. There's. Interesting. I'm going to jump right into tarot after this because I'm rather excited, actually. We've got Release. That seems very appropriate. That looks like the best form of mourning, M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G, that I can imagine seeing. Okay. You fell out too. And surrender. We're going to keep her as well. Surrender. So we've got release and surrender. Release the old. Surrender to the divine. Out with the old, lovelies. Out with the old. It's time to embrace a whole new you. The more you read your experience up until now, your book up until now, your story up until now, look at that. The more you learn, the more you earn personal power, personal value, self-worth extraordinaire. Move this one. Does that make sense? Self-worth extraordinaire. Self. Oops, I have my cards upside down. Self again as the underlying. So this is all about the expression of the self, the betterment of the self-development. I love it. I love it. Perspective. It's all about perspective. The more you read, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you earn. Play again and I'll show you more. I love it. Play again and I'll show you more. And this Deer of Delta says, be comforted. Be comforted in that, because if you're endeavoring to, um, better yourself, especially from within, you are so supported in that. That is absolutely the goal. Absolutely the goal. All right. All right, the self. Ooh, beautiful. The self. I want to pull that real quick. I just want to show you. Okay. The self, right? Ace of Wands. Our first card out. Now this is a situation. Okay. We're all cleared out now with the tear. All cleared out. Okay. Because we know now. Whatever the situation is, we cried, we did all the things, but now we can see differently. All right. So now we've got to embody that. We got to embody that. So here's your new start. Here's your fresh new beginning. I already did that. Here's your fresh new beginning, right? That Ace of Wands. Where's the self at? Are my cards upside down? Oh, okay. Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so what's been invested in so far? All right. Looks like he's looking down, so maybe he's looking into his underworld, where he puts value. Where he puts value. All right. So the foundation, Chariot. We're more empowered at this point. Fresh, clean perspective. We know which way we want to go. Not so much we know which way we want to go. We know what we don't want. We know what we know now is more than we knew before. So now that we know better, we can do better. And we have a little bit more faith and trust in our ability to gauge that. We feel more empowered. The Chariot is definitely competence in your own ability to lead your life in a successful way. Protected at that, especially with this deer. The Vision Quest. The Eight of Cups is the past, the self in the past, which makes perfect sense because we've looked, right? We've looked and we've leapt and found the situation to be. Why did I just do that? Found the situation to be wanting. Henceforth, the tear. You find yourself in this situation where you learned. Okay. The surrounding environment is the moon. The surrounding environment is the moon. The unknown. The emotion. The emotion. Okay. Self in the present. This star knows it has the power. This is a healthy tear here. Going into the Destroyer, which is all about perspective. And not even faith in that perspective. Certainty in, certainty, no doubt, in what's going to continue on and what's not going to continue on. It's a very star-like scenario to find yourself in. So the Ace of Wands to the future here is the Four of Wands, which is celebration, which is absolute illumination. 1111, that arbor there is, look, I know where I stand. I'm certainty, right? Certainty of I have the power. All right, self in the futures. Self in the future, spirit. I hope I'm making sense. Self in the future. Nine of Pentacles, perfect. Value. Self-estimation, like high value of your own ability to lead your life. Once you release the old and surrender to the new, meaning the new that you put in place, the new that you took inspired action towards so that you could continue to shine, or choose, you have a whole new facet to your multifaceted perspective once you learn. It's a whole new trajectory of you. All right, Spirit, what's in the middle here? What is the event that will change the perspective? King of Wands. Embodying your highest self, hearing your higher self, knowing that you are the one that holds that one. Sincerely, that I have the power. I have the power. My opinion is the only one that matters. My opinion is the one that creates my world. All right. What is the cross here? What's in the way? Four swords. Okay. Recognizing that that inner voice, that guidance within, is what evolves your world towards a heaven that is already here. And to know this is to know your destiny. That is actually the Celestine prophecy. But yeah, that voice, that knowing, that golden sword there is all about acknowledging that voice, allowing it to do what it does as the witness. As the witness. Trust that voice. Trust that voice. What's the hopes? That's sacred mission. Sacred mission. Knowing what to set fire to. Knowing what to set on fire. Fear. Convoluted. That's the word I heard. Convolution. Don't worry. Don't worry. Sometimes your imagination is just floating through possibilities. You know, just be easy with yourself. Be compassionate with yourself. You know, the human mind is able to conjure up anything. So don't take it personally. You know, that just means your mind is super powerful. Now, if it's not something that you want to conjure up, just pull out of it. Change your mind. Think about something else. Tell it you do not want to consider that aspect. That's not your business. You want to look at something else. Your mind is your tool. Okay? Don't let it mire you in junk. Okay? Boss it. Boss it. Use that golden sword to your advantage. How does that change? Okay, right? Knowing that it's... You know which voice to listen to. All right. And advice, judgments. Listen to that voice. Hear that call. Move forward. Rise up. Come out of the underworld. Right? Come out of that underworld. There is no shadow. There is no shadow. As long as you're willing to look at yourself honestly and dismiss it or work on it, there's nothing to hide. And I don't mean that like insensitively. I mean that just in a general conversation about perspective, right? About knowledge is power. And the outcome, Spirit. The outcome. The outcome. The shadow. How do we help? Authenticity. You know, this Nine of Swords is right after the Eight of Swords. Well, let's say this way. All right. This Nine of Swords comes right after the Eight of Swords, which is Wands. Which is the Eight of Wands, which is 8 wands flying in the direction of this particular person. Okay. Right after the Seven of Wands, which is a person basically in a stance to where they're standing above others, aware of their influence, holding their wand. Okay. Now this fella here, holding his wand with those 8 wands that were energy moving, all standing behind him, put in place, organized. He knows where his opinion is. This is authenticity itself. You know, a lot of people say wounded warrior or what have you. It is, but in a progressive way. Progressive. That is genuine authenticity right there. I know where I stand. The Knight of Swords. All right. That change of mind. All right. Air in action. Air in action. All right. So the more you know, the more you learn. I'm sorry, the more you read, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you earn. The more you read, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you earn. The less shadow you have, the less you have to hide. The more color you have to yourself. Look at this. Look at the difference, okay, between the shadow and the self. This is the difference between the shadow and the self. Now, the shadow feels like it's all closed off and hiding, just different aspects of nobody wants to look at this, right? Nobody wants to see me. Now, this self-representation of light, of how those play out, this is a person in all of its glory. There's not a single bit of black, gray, or white that is visible. So it's really something to think about. This is earn, okay? This is the more you learn, the more you earn. Meaning the bigger um yourself, the bigger your capacity to fill your own shoes, the more valuable you are to yourself and the world at large, right? Now, this shadow aspect, let me put this way, the shadow is hiding. The shadow is limiting. The shadow is restricting. The shadow is not wanting to know. Because if you know, then you know that you got to change. And if you change, you're afraid because you're not sure if you're going to earn or if you're going to lose or if it's going to be worth it, etc. Change that mindset to no matter what, it's just another aspect of me. And it makes me even better, brighter, shinier. Shinier. Shine on is the message. Shine on is the message. Look at the way that you look at your perspective. Look at the way that you look at yourself. Look at the way that you're remember, multifaceted is how a gem is shiny. The more edges a thing has on it, the shinier it is. The more perspective it has, the more it just radiates light, right? So even, metaphorically speaking, there's no light reflecting in the shade, right? There's nothing for light to bounce off of. I appreciate y'all, and thank you. Thank you for helping me unpack this message. I knew there was more to it. It's time to wake up and be you. Be yourself. The more you read, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you earn. Self-worth being the main ideal pearl that we're going for. Thank you very much. Peace. Until next time.